Have you ever thought about what's invisible? I mean, really thought about it? Imagine, every single breath you take isn't just air. It's a whole universe of life, teeming with stuff that's all around us, but we just can't see it.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to peel back that curtain of invisibility. We're diving deep to uncover the secrets of the tiniest living things, a world that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
And it really all boils down to one simple question, right? What are we missing? You gotta wonder what amazing stories, what little dramas are playing out right under our noses, totally unseen.
Well, for almost all of human history, the answer to that question was a lot. I mean, our eyes are pretty incredible, but they definitely have their limits. For centuries, this whole world of tiny things was a total mystery. Why? We just didn't have the tools to peek inside. So how did we finally crack the case? It actually started with something simple. Curved glass, lenses that could make things look bigger. But then, in the 1660s, a couple of brilliant minds, Robert Hooke and Antony van Leeuwenhoek, took it to the next level. They started refining and combining these lenses, and bam, they created the very first real microscopes and threw open the door to this invisible world. And here it is. This is one of those game-changing inventions. It's Robert Hooke's microscope from way back in 1665. Yeah, it looks kind of clunky compared to what we have now, but don't let that fool you. This thing was powerful enough to change science. Forever.
So what did he even see with it? Well, when Hooke put a super thin slice of cork under his microscope, this is what he saw and drew. He noticed it was made of tons of tiny little empty boxes, kind of like a honeycomb.
These little compartments reminded him of the small rooms that monks lived in, which in Latin were called cella. And just like that, he came up with the name we still use today, the cell, the absolute basic unit of all living things.
And this is a great way to think about it. It's like a brick wall, right? You can't build a wall without the individual bricks. Well, in the same way, you can't build any living thing, not a tree, not a dog, not even you, without cells. They are the building blocks.
And get this, seeing your own cells is actually way easier than you'd think. Seriously, all it takes is a gentle scrape from the inside of your cheek, a glass slide, and a basic microscope, and you can look at your very own building blocks. And there they are. This is what they look like. These are real human cheek cells. Every single one of those little blobs is one cell. You can even see the nucleus, that darker spot in the middle, and all the jelly-like cytoplasm around it. This isn't some abstract science stuff, that's literally you.
But these cells aren't loners, oh no, they team up. Groups of similar cells form tissues. Then different tissues come together to build organs, like your heart or your lungs. Those organs work together in organ systems. And all of those systems working in concert, well, that's what makes a complete living thing, an organism, like us. Of course, not all cells are created equal. If you look at plant and animal cells, they have some basics in common. They both got a membrane, a nucleus, and cytoplasm. But plants have a few extra goodies. They've got a tough outer cell wall to keep them rigid, a big central vacuole for storing water, and the super important chloroplasts, which is how they make their own food from sunlight. Okay, so we usually think of cells as being microscopic, right? But check this out. The largest single cell on the entire planet is the yolk of an ostrich egg. It can be up to 170 millimeters across. That's a single cell that you can hold in your hand. How wild is that?
So we've talked about organisms made of trillions of cells, but what about life forms that are made of just one? Well, it's time to zoom in even further and meet the microbes. If you scooped up a single drop of pond water and put it under a microscope, you wouldn't just see water. You'd find a whole zoo teeming with life. There's the amoeba, constantly changing its shape, the paramecium, which looks like a little slipper. You'd see tiny green algae, all sorts of bacteria, and even fungi. It's an entire ecosystem in one little drop. And it's not just in ponds. These microbes are, well, they're everywhere. In the dirt, in the air we breathe, and yeah, even inside of us. Right now, your gut is home to trillions of bacteria that are crucial for helping you digest your food. Okay, so they're everywhere. But what are they actually doing?
It turns out a whole lot of these microbes are basically our invisible allies. They're tiny little players doing a huge job, keeping our entire planet running. And maybe their most important job? They're the planet's ultimate recycling crew. Think about it. When a leaf falls or a piece of fruit starts to rot, it doesn't just sit there forever. Microbes in the soil get to work, breaking all that stuff down into simple, rich nutrients. They create the healthy soil that new life needs to grow. Honestly, without them, the world as we know it would just stop. They clean up the environment, they recycle all the essential nutrients, they help plants grow. And, like we said, they even help us digest our lunch. These tiny, invisible life forms are absolutely fundamental to the circle of life. No exaggeration. You know, when we first discovered the world of the cell and the microbe, it completely flipped our understanding of life on its head. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The moment you see the invisible, it changes how you see, well, everything. So the big question is, what other hidden worlds are out there, right now, just waiting for us to invent the right tool to finally see them?